Hey, hi, good morning, everyone who's just joining us. Um, Happy Wednesday. We're really glad that you could join us just for this short informational session about the Empire State Trail Town program, whether you've applied before or you're familiar with it or it's completely new to you. This will be a great intro to what the program is all about and some of the information that will be really helpful for submitting the application this year. We're using a new platform, so that'll be good information for everyone to have. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We might have people join a little bit later, but this webinar will be recorded, so it'll be available on our website, as well as the PDF will be available to reference and review. So don't worry about taking notes too closely. So we're going to start off with some introductions. Maybe I'll just start right now so you know who I am, and then we'll introduce the rest of the team in a minute. But I'm Erica Schneider, with the Policy and Planning Manager with Parks and Trails New York, and the Project Manager for the Empire State Trail Town program. And I'm going to save the rest of the intros for just after running through the agenda. So just so you're aware, we'll go through kind of the background, why investing in trails and the Trail Town program is so important, what a trail town is. Then we'll go more into what the Empire State Trail Town program is, where this came from, kind of the history and what the program will look like on the ground, and then get into the information about the application that will help you fill that out. So, welcome again. I'm Erica, and I'll pass it over to Dylan, my colleague here at PTNY.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dylan Carey. I'm Director of Policy and Planning. Erica and I are the team that really leads our efforts on the Trail Town program. And so we'll get into it a little bit more in detail, as Erica mentioned, but want to just, thank everybody for joining this morning.
Great. And yeah, just in case, probably most of you are familiar with Parks and Trails New York, but we are a nonprofit, the state's leading advocate for public lands, working to expand, protect, and promote our network of parks and greenway trails. So that is kind of our role here, and we work really closely with the Canal Corporation. So I'll hand it over to Sasha to say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sasha Del Perel. I am the trail manager for the New York State Canal Corporation. And the New York State Canal Corporation has almost 2 decade, actually it's probably 2 decade this year, partnership with Parks and Trails New York. They help us administer a number of programs that we can't handle in-house. And with the expertise of Parks and Trails New York, they help build out our stewardship programs and also community benefit programs. This is one of them. We at Canal Corporation and with Parks and Trails New York's brainstorming, we wanted to offer communities some technical assistance on how to make themselves as bike and pedestrian friendly as possible, and have the tie-in between our canal asset, the trail and waterway, but also bring in the communities so that we're working in partnership with one another. So thank you, Parks and Trails New York, for helping us with this program. And I look forward to seeing next round of applications. And the one other disclaimer I want to throw out there is that while Canal Corporation is the sponsor of this program, action items that come out of this program always need to be approved and vetted by Canal Corporation regarding any projects that are proposed on Canal Corporation land. For some communities, that's not relevant. You have ownership and maintenance jurisdiction over your property. But when it comes to Canal Corporation property, we have the ownership and jurisdiction. So it's always important for any ideas to be run past us. So that was the one housekeeping item. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sasha. It's great to have you and your perspective from Canal Corporation here, reminding us of all of those things like that. And really quick, I also have Jonathan Duda here with us this morning, who is our, well, I'll let you introduce yourself, John.
Sure, yes. Hi, I'm Jonathan Duda. I'm the grants manager at Parks and Trails New York, and I'll just be doing a quick few slides just to show you kind of the online grant portal process and accessing the application, signing in, et cetera. So yeah, look forward to that towards the end.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And we're really excited also to have a couple of folks from our trail towns that we've worked with so far. First up, we have Danielle. Danielle, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Danielle Salisbury, I'm a planner with the City of Rome and been working with PTNY for a while now on Trail Town projects. So it's been very exciting.
Great, thank you. And we'll hear a little bit more from Danielle in a bit. And we also should have Corey from the village of Schuylerville joining us as well. I don't think she's on yet, so we'll loop back around to her later later in the presentation.
Sure.
Oh, she's here. Oh my gosh. Hello, Corey. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself then.
Hi, I'm Corey Heyman from the village of Schuylerville. We've been working with Parks and Trails over the past year. Yes. And we did a few things like the ride around, bike around. That was very informative for all of us. And we've been giving quite the laundry list of things that we need to do to make our town more trail friendly. And it's been great working with these guys. And we've enjoyed it.
Great, thank you. And we'll hear a little bit more from you later as well. Thanks for being here. So now we can get into really why we're here today, and I'll turn it over to Dylan for that.
Thank you, Erica, and thanks everybody. So I think everybody's probably here because you understand, you get that trails are a thing that brings a wide array of benefits to your community. You know, we know that there's physical and mental health benefits, there's pride of place, there's sustainable transportation options. We know that investing in trails and investing in the trail user experience really has that positive impact on enhancing quality of life. But one of the other big benefits that I want to talk about, and something that's really at the core of our Trail Town program, is the power of trails, and especially long distance trails like the Empire State Trail, to be economic drivers for local communities. So I wanted to take some time to give you all some background on why you should care about creating a quality trail experience and attracting recreational cyclists. And first is that there's a lot of them. 48 million people bicycle recreationally each year. And these are estimates from back in 2017. I did look to see if there was updated estimates, and I don't think the Outdoor Industry Association has those out yet. But that is a significant impact on the national economy. Again, back then it was nearly 100 billion a year. So today it's going to be significantly more than that. Because we saw during the pandemic that people got outside more, they got out on bikes more, they got reacquainted with the joy of cycling. Pretty much every community across the country reported seeing an increase in cyclists as a result of the pandemic. And that was absolutely true here in New York. The Canal Trail System is one of New York State's premier outdoor destinations, and that has become even more the case since the Empire State Trail was completed at the end of 2020. And we know that the trail is the primary way by which people interact with the historic Erie Canal, which, by the way, is celebrating its 200th birthday this year. It's an exciting year for the Erie Canal and for the whole canal system. We know that there's boaters, but there's far fewer of them than there are people using the land trail. Through our partnership that Sasha mentioned, we count trail use along the Canalway Trail. And in our most recent, in our 2023 Who's on the Trail report that was released in spring of 2024, we estimated that average annual visitation for the Erie Canalway Trail is just over 3.8 million. And the Champlain Canal sees another 100,000. These are folks that are coming from around the world, from around the country. It gets international recognition. We've had articles in newspapers from the UK and from other places that highlight the destination that is the Empire State Trail. And people come and ride it, whether that's part of PTNY's Cycle the Erie Canal bike tour or if it's on their own tour. And all of these cyclists have an impact on the economy. In 2014, PTNY put out an economic impact study that reported that overall visitor spending generates approximately $250 million a year in sales across upstate New York communities. And that was based on an estimate at that time of 1.6 million annual visits a year. Remember, that was before the completion of the Empire State Trail. We're at more than twice that number today, so you can imagine what the economic impact is now. So getting into trail towns, what is a trail town? Why is this a program that PTNY runs? And why is it something that we've decided to try to spread across the state? So the idea of a trail town is really looking at a holistic approach to the benefits a trail provides a community and making targeted improvements and investments in the trail to enhance that community. According to Amy Camp, who is the author of a book, Deciding on Trails, and who is also one of the founders of the original Trail Town program along the Great Allegheny Passage in Pennsylvania, a trail town is a community through which a trail passes that supports trail users with services, promotes the trail to its residents, and embraces the trail as a resource to be protected and celebrated. Amy goes on to say that trail towns are built on the relationship between a town, its trail, and those who use and care for it. So what makes a place a trail town? Well, we've identified a couple of different qualities that exemplify a town that embraces its trail as a resource to be protected and celebrated, and looks at the things that really, enhance that trail user experience. So the most important thing is that trails offer a baseline set of amenities that trail users value, that they've got safe infrastructure, they've got wayfinding resources, and they have this community character. And I'm going to get into each of these items in just a little bit more detail. So first, looking at those services and amenities. Some of the most common requests folks have for along the trail is for things like restrooms, for drinking water. Both of these are critical to providing a positive experience for trail users. You need things like overnight accommodations. If you want visitors to come spend time, and time is money, in your community, you need places for them to stay overnight. We know from that economic impact study that overnight visitors to the trail spend significantly more, like orders of magnitude more, on their time in the community, in your local businesses than day visitors do. And I'm talking about all level of accommodations. You need camping options, you need smaller bed and breakfast, these mom and pop establishments, and you need hotels that all of them need to be welcoming to trail users as well. You need to have food and drink, especially local fare. That's something that trail users and cyclists are really drawn to. You want to have a range of options ideally, but you're going to need places that are a draw for trail users, especially in the warmer months. Places with outdoor seating, although sitting outdoors today sounds pretty terrible, but remember what it's like in July or August when you do want to be outside as much as you can. You want things like ice cream, you want coffee, and trail users often are going to look for breweries or wineries at the end of the day, places to unwind. And you're going to want to have a place that tells potential visitors about what are the things that your community has to offer. Central place for information, whether that's a welcome center or information that's just up on a bulletin board, someplace that you can tell people who are new to your community what it is that your community has to offer them, why they want to stop and explore your community a little bit more rather than keep going on the trail. And then finally, for all of these places, if you want these cyclists to visit, you got to give them a place to park their bikes. You got to give them a place to securely lock up their bikes, because especially if they're bike-based tourists, their bike is their means of travel. If they lose their bike, they're not going to have a good time, and they're going to have a really negative experience in your community. And cyclists talk to one another. There's a strong network of cyclists, and so having safe bike parking is an important aspect of a welcoming community. But you've got all these destinations, you've got all these things. That's a great start, but you also need ways for people to get safely to and from them. You need to have that high quality, safe bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure that connects the trail to your business districts and to other destinations. You might have a great hotel, you might have a great restaurant in town, but if there's no way for a visiting trail user to get there safely on their bike, they're not going to go there. Doesn't matter how great it is. If it's way out of town and you have to go on busy highways to get there, and that's not an amenity for cyclists. You also need wayfinding. You need to be able to tell cyclists how to get where they're going from where they are. If there is a safe connection, have you told cyclists how to get there? There are things like wayfinding signage, there's mapping, there's informational resources so that these visiting cyclists both know what they want to do when they get there before they even arrive, but also the ones that haven't necessarily planned out a trip to your community, that once they get there, if it's clear that by going in a certain direction, they can get to things that are desirable, are you telling them that? Are there those is that information provided? And finally, and maybe the hardest to quantify, but in some ways the most important, is are you welcoming to them? Do you provide this welcoming atmosphere? Do you drive trail users in? They want to know why they would visit your community versus any of the other communities along the Canalway Trail. They want to know what makes your community unique. What is your community's story that you're trying to tell them? What are the things that make your community a good destination? They want to know what those draws are. Are there natural features in your community that are different from other places along the trail? Are there points of interest? Are there museums that they're going to want to take some time to stop and go in and visit? There's also things you can do to create a community identity and communicate that and celebrate that and celebrate the heritage as well. These could be things like public art, could be festivals and events, farmers markets, canal festivals, concert series. A lot of communities are already doing these things. And so what are these things that you're doing and how are you communicating them to traveling cyclists? So all of these things are things that we're looking at. I know a lot of your communities are doing many, if not most of these already. And that's what we're going to be looking to see in the Trail Town applications. But also don't worry if you aren't 100 on all of these, because this is what our program is. It's helping communities along to sort of level up, to advance what you're doing in terms of being a welcoming community to visiting trail cyclists. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Erica, who's going to take my sort of theoretical big picture thing and talk about the specifics in our Trail Town program, what it is we do and what we're going to be looking for from you in your applications. So Erica?
Great, thanks, Dylan. So I think that was a really good overview of what trail towns are in general. But the Empire State Trail Town program was something that we designed and started up in 2021, specifically for the Canalway Trail, including the Erie and Champlain Canalway trails. So what we're looking to do is support the communities that are already offering these high quality amenities and are serving as destinations and are also demonstrating a commitment to improvement. And I will, right off the bat say that it's not a grant program, but it's really an opportunity to grow capacity, identify priorities, grow that movement so that then you have the tools and the resources to pursue future funding opportunities. And PTNY has been at this for a long time, like Sasha alluded to. We have had a partnership for over 20 years, and we've had different programs in the past, and this program kind of brings them all together. Whether it's Bicyclists Bring Business, it was a placemaking workshop and Bike Around that now we've expanded to the full year of support, or our other programs like Bike Friendly New York Business Certification that we do still run concurrently, and that's a big part of the Trail Town process. And so right now we have 8 participating communities in the Trail Town program. And the way that it works is that through a year of, or about a year of of technical assistance and promotional support, you come out with an action plan and certification, and from there you are considered a trail town. So at this point, the village of Rockport, Lockport, Newark, and Rome are all certified trail towns, and we are just finishing up the process with the city of Little Falls, Amsterdam, village of Schuylerville, and town of Fort Edward. So by participating in the program, you'll join this amazing cohort of communities that are all pursuing the same goals, right? Although the specific recommendations will be targeted to each community, you're all working toward the same aim of elevating the Canalway Trail, the Empire State Trail as a destination. So what we're working towards is encouraging more people to use the trail, to get out, to be active, to visit their local businesses, and encouraging municipalities to really see the trail as a core asset to be invested in and planned around in the future. We're also looking at helping communities realize those economic benefits by increasing the number of visiting trail users who spend money at local businesses and those that stay overnight. So those are the kind of what this program is working towards, is increasing the trail use and the like Amy Camp said in her definition, the celebrating the trail as a resource and getting those benefits out of it. So we identified 4 objectives to kind kind of work towards through this program, and each has a series of strategies. And this is all written out in the Trail Town Handbook that I hope you all have gotten a chance to look at. And we'll put a link into the chat. It's all on the website, but we've identified a series of strategies to help achieve each of these objectives. So in order to reach the goal of a network, we will help you form a Trail Town committee. We'll help you inform your community about this process. We'll provide resources to help certify more businesses as bike friendly. And we'll encourage you to participate in or host a Canal Clean Sweep event. We'll also help you conduct research by hosting workshops and collecting trail user data using an electronic trail user counter in your community. We'll also, of course, help you in promoting your community as a destination. So helping you formulate what exactly makes your place special, helping you identify what visitors will want to know in order to plan their trips. And we'll look at creating a new page for you on the Cycle the Erie Canal website, as well as help you update your own municipal websites to provide that information. So this is kind of what that Trail Town website could look like. This was for the city of Rome. And finally, we'll help you create an action plan to guide your work moving forward. We only work with you for 10 months, but beyond that, you'll have this roadmap to help guide future investments, future funding applications. And then you'll have this community of other trail towns to work with as we move forward. We're not going to disappear entirely after this 1 year. You'll have this whole network. So this slide, it's a lot of text, but it summarizes the benefits that you'll get from participating in the program, which is a lot of technical assistance and support from PTNY and just helping you along the way reach each of these milestones of creating that momentum and conducting the research and coming out with something actionable. So now we're going to take a couple minutes to hear from our trail towns that are joining us today that have participated so far. Just a little bit more about their experience, what they got out of it, kind of maybe some of the successes that you've seen since starting to participate in the program. So I'm going to start by turning it over to Corey from Schuylerville just to talk about your experience so far and anything that future trail towns might want to know. I see, Corey, you're muted. Are you talking? Perhaps we'll come back and we'll start with Danielle. Oh, no, here you are.
Yeah, I had used my phone. We have technical difficulties again. So one of the things, I think one of the best things that came of it was the committee that we formed of, stakeholders in the village, business owners. And it was just really great to see the people dedicated to this and getting the ideas, the brainstorming sessions. We had a business owner who purchased how many bike racks? 25 bike racks with his own money and sold it to business owners, and people responded. We actually bought one for ourselves, for the village, and even just having ideas for what it is that we have that we're not promoting. For example, we have bathrooms in our village that are down by the beach. They're close enough to the trail to be easily accessible, but nothing on the trail says where the bathrooms are. Simple things like that. Our visitor center, beautiful new visitor center, they didn't have bike racks or a water bottle filling station, and now they have both. So, it was a little bit of an education for us to learn what are the things that are very simple that we can do. And then also, getting the whole group together, we were looking at where we cross from the park to the main street and realized it's terrible. It's very dangerous. And with New York Forward grant that we received, we then got the idea to apply for a project to widen that and create a bike lane and pedestrian lane. So it just sort of sparked ideas and got momentum, and we were able to get a bunch of businesses to sign on as bike friendly. We had a person who wasn't even on the committee actually going door to door with the businesses and saying, this is all you have to do to be bike friendly. So more than anything, I think it really educated us and brought people together. And then once we had this momentum going, a lot happened in a short period of time, and hopefully more will continue to happen.
Mention your size.
Oh yeah, we're a very small village. We're very small. We have, I think it's 1,600 souls. Yeah, not a lot. So we're small, but the park is also used by a lot of different entities. Right now, Saratoga County wants to use it for the 150th celebration. 250, yes, sorry, 250th celebration, and they are now kind of catching on to the whole idea of improving the trail and the connection between the park and the village. So it's just kind of added to this momentum that we've been feeling lately. So yeah, it's been good.
Thank you so much for that perspective. It's been such a privilege getting to work with you all and see everything kind of come together over the course of a really short period of time. It's quite impressive what you all have been able to accomplish.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but we are going to have to sign out because we have another meeting that we have to go to. But thank you for all of the work that you guys have done too.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. And Julie, I think I heard you back there too. Nice to
I'm here.
yeah.
Actually, we're going to be meeting with the mayor on how we carry the trail town forward
Great.
in
Great
this
to hear.
little tiny community.
Yeah. So I think we'll take going from a really small community, 1,600 people, to how this program has worked in the city of Rome, which a little bigger place.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
guys.
Danielle Salisbury here again, planner with the City of Rome. We were fortunate enough to participate in the program in 2023 and have been just going since. It's been a fantastic experience participating in the program, and the aftermath has been just so motivating and inspiring. So two of the biggest assets that I see for Rome that came out of this process, of the Trail Town process, was, as Corey had mentioned, getting that committee together. We had no idea. We knew that there were cycling enthusiasts and people who cared a lot about trails and our waterways, but starting the process of getting that committee together, it was just resoundingly, so many people wanted to participate and be a part of the committee. I think we had over 20 people on our committee. And of course, it winnowed down a little bit, but so much enthusiasm and excitement about celebrating what we have. And also, as going through this process, we found out some of our weaknesses as well that we could improve on. So the group going forward was a fantastic asset to not only help identify where our strengths and weaknesses were, but also then to take actionable steps to remedy our weaknesses. The second biggest asset that I think came out of this project, of the program, is the action agenda that was mentioned. So that has been our guiding force going forward. It lays everything out so nice and neat that it's basically our framework now that, as Erica mentioned, now that we're not meeting with them regularly on a weekly or monthly basis. And it's been fantastic to guide us. The process itself was very pleasant. It was so nice working with Erica and Dylan, who were so knowledgeable about trail towns and about all of the other communities along the trail as well, which I thought was very helpful because when we had questions like, okay, well, we see this weakness here, what have other communities done that has been successful? They often had an answer like, well, this worked here and this didn't work here. You could try this and we can find more information for you. So having Erica and Dylan at our fingertips was so helpful. And having that framework of the program to really guide us through those steps of, the finding our weaknesses and strengths, and then how we can just improve in general. I would say, let's see, overall, the program really put the trail and waterways on our radar, on the city's radar, in a much larger way and in a much more formalized way. We knew in kind of the back of our minds that we had some work to do. We knew, for example, that we needed bike racks downtown, but going through this process and having things laid out for us in a formalized way, giving us this path forward, was extremely helpful. And now we have no excuse, and we have a motivated group of people to make sure that these things get carried out. So after we wrapped up the program, our committee actually turned into the Rome Waterways and Trails Advocacy Group, which is still a large group of very motivated people who meet monthly and have broken into committees to help get different action agenda items done. So far, we have put in some more bike parking. We've remedied some of our sign issues. And we actually just met a couple of days ago for our kind of like annual refocusing meeting to make sure that we're staying on track to meet our recommendations and planning out kind of those longer term goals. So again, those are the two biggest assets, is that group, that committee that has now transformed into our advocacy group, and having that action plan as a pathway forward. So momentum is still going strong 2 years later, and we're so excited to keep going. And thank you again for starting all this.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear that. Great to hear that you guys are still meeting and working towards those goals. I know that it's been really fun to follow along and, support where we can. And another big thing I'll highlight that Rome did, that, I mean, you guys have done so much, but is you guys came together, and within a few short months last year, you hosted a big block party for Cycle the Erie Canal when our bike tour came through last year. And it was just such an amazing way to see the community come together, see all these 700 cyclists enjoying using the trail, and then get to participate in that joy themselves. So big shout out to Rome for doing that. Dylan, anything you wanted to add there?
No, just appreciate hearing all the nice things from Danielle. We didn't have to pay her anything to say those nice things about us, so it was a nice surprise.
It's true.
So, yes, thank you to Danielle and Corey for sharing their experiences. And I'll just kind of wrap up this section with a brief timeline that I've referenced about kind of what this program looks like. Right now, we're in this early stage of the application, with the application being open now and closing at the beginning of March. At that point, we'll review the applications, host some interviews, and select communities by the end of March. And then April through December will really be the bulk of the work, including the research, the self-assessment, placemaking, and bike round workshops, and then some self reflection on some of the outcomes that came out of those workshops to identify priorities. And then culminating in December with a published action plan, and bleeding over into the next year to actually adopt that action plan and be certified as a official Empire State Trail Town. Oh, I realize these dates are off. Should be winter 2025 to spring 2026. So now probably what you all are interested in is how this application process is going to work. We are using the PTNY Grants and Programs online portal for the first time this year. So there are just a few important things to know in using this program to apply. So I'm actually going to turn it over to John in a minute, but I will note that this PDF will be available, and on our website you can find an application preview of the entire list of questions. So before you even go into the grant portal, you can always review the questions to be prepared. John?
Excellent. Thanks, Erica. Hopefully there's not too much of an echo. I'm in a little closet here in our shared office space. So I will just to reiterate what Erica said. Yes, this is the grant portal that you'll be accessing the application through. So it's not a grant, but our grant portal is ideal for this application process. So in order to access it, you can just go to ptny.org, and if you look up at the top there, there is a grant portal button. Please, I would advise you to just bookmark it, save that URL. If you do go back, don't confuse it with that login tab to the right there. We have a lot of grant applicants who click that login button there to the right, and that leads you somewhere else. So avoid that. So yeah, click the grant portal tab there in order to get started. And once you get to the main screen there, I assume most of you probably have not applied before. Your municipality probably won't be in the system, so you will just click the Create New Account button there. If you do click that and it says you're already registered, just reach out to us and we can make sure that you're set up correctly with the proper login information. So when you do go to create your account, it will say organization name there, but just put in the municipality or if you're applying through another organization, etc. So that is a requirement. The other requirement is the employee identification number for your municipality, or if it's a federal tax ID number. So make sure that you have that on hand, because that is a requirement to be able to get into the system. And then you'll see also too, just the main contact for all of that information. You will also have to fill out kind of you as the applicant information as well. It'll lead you through that. So, but be sure to have all that information on hand there once you begin to create your account. Once you do get into the portal, you will be led directly to the dashboard, and this is kind of your home base. And anytime you do need to, if you're in the application and you do need to get back to this spot, there's that little house icon there to the right of the Parks and Trails logo. That will always bring you back to this dashboard. And yeah, likely you'll not have any historical requests or active requests in there, so you will just click that apply button. That apply button will bring you to the apply page. And to start, you'll notice that this will bring up actually a whole list of all of the different grants that we have, all the past grants, etc. You'll, of course, be focusing on the 2025 Empire State Trail Town Program application. Please don't confuse that with, if you look right below there, that 2025 Trail Town grants. That will be on the 13th, that will actually be activated. So there will be an apply button next to that too. So please don't confuse the two. This is the Empire State Trail Town program, and all you have to do is just click that apply button to the right. And that will lead you right into the application. And as Erica said earlier, the application is divided up into a few different sections. There's, if you look below there, there's instructions, applicant information, the criteria, and then the preparedness section. Those are all collapsible areas that you can use to fill out. There is a question list feature there. It's a little button there that is available for you to download a PDF of the application. If you do wish to share it with any of your colleagues, for example, you can download that. Once you do start filling out the application, you'll notice that to the left of that question list button, a application packet button will appear. That will allow you to be able to print up a PDF of everything that you filled out thus far, any uploads, any documents that you uploaded, etc. That will allow you to put that into a PDF to be able to share out, email to anybody as well. So it's very handy, and that will appear once you do start. There will be file uploads. These file uploads in the application, you'll see on the application, it does have space limits for them. So you do, if you have multiple documents, each question only allows you to have just one file. So you do need to have the ability to be able to combine PDFs or images, PDFs, etc. If you have trouble with that, just reach out to us and we can, we have the tools to do so if you don't have access to Adobe Acrobat, for example. So reach out to us if you're having any issues or if the file size is too large. And of course, save your work. You can save it, keep coming back to the application as much as you need to. But very important is when you are ready or you're all complete, everything's done, please be sure to click that submit application button down to the right. That way we know that it's done, that you didn't abandon it. Some people start filling things out and then they decide that they don't want to submit it. So that's the only way that we'll know whether it is submitted or not. So make sure you click that. And so I think that is it.
Thank you, John. Yeah,
Yep. It's pretty self-explanatory in there. So again, yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions.
yes, we are always available to help. We know this is a new system, so we want to make it easy for you guys. It's not supposed to be a barrier. So, I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about the eligibility and some of the other components of the application. So just starting off with eligible applicants who are the cities, villages, and towns located directly on or within 3 miles, that's the most, of the Erie or Champlain Canalway trails. So while it's called the Empire State Trail Town Program, at this point, it's just limited to the Canalway trails, Erie and Champlain, going from Albany to Whitehall. So just a few things to note as you're applying, that we will be accepting group applications from a group of smaller municipalities for the first time this year. So if your municipality doesn't meet all the criteria on your own, you can partner with nearby local municipalities on one application if together you all meet the criteria. But you will need a primary applicant, one lead municipality to be spearheading this effort, and you will need all of the other municipalities to still be on board. And whether you're applying just as one or as a group, every municipality needs to provide a municipal resolution, which is our preferred, or if you can't get that in time, a letter on official letterhead from the mayor or supervisor in support of the application will be required. And of course, like John said, the municipality will need to be the one or a representative of the municipality will need to be the one to actually fill out the application and create the account, because you do need that EIN or tax ID number to create an account in the grant and program portal. And so
Before we get in, sorry,
Yes,
just
go
real
ahead.
quick, Erica, because we did have a question about this in the chat, and a number of other folks have reached out to us about this question as well, asking if counties can be applicants. At this time, no, we do not accept applications from counties directly as the lead applicants. However, a lot of our most successful trail towns that we've worked with in the past have partnered very closely with counties. I know in the city of Amsterdam this year, which is one of our 2024 trail towns, folks from Montgomery County have been an integral part of their trail town effort. So we would encourage the county to partner with whichever community you would think would be that lead applicant, work closely with them, provide a lot of support. As both Danielle and Corey mentioned, a big aspect of this trail town program is creating that committee, is really working in a collaborative manner. So, while the county is not eligible to be that lead applicant, we do want to see partnerships that are in support of those smaller municipalities, and having county involvement in helping to spur that activity at that local level will be something that we're really looking for as we review the applications.
Yes, good point. Thanks for bringing that up, Dylan, because we have heard that a number of times. So yeah, county's very important, but we do need that on the ground municipal support or lead action. All right, so in addition to the municipality being on board, we do also look to have a community partner be on board with this program as well. So at least one nonprofit or other community organization, we'd like to see them provide a letter of support saying that they're willing to commit their time and resources to the Trail Town initiative. So in the past, this has been like a bike ped advocacy group. It has been a friends group of a local trail. It's been a Main Street association. Really, it could be any group that is interested in supporting this program, this process. And we'll leave it open-ended. And if you have multiple, like that's even better. Just indicate those in the application. This is just to show that you'll have some force, some people that are already on board and interested in supporting. Okay, so now that we've hit on that applicant information, kind of who you need to be on board. Oh, I'll just say the one last part of the applicant information will be providing a draft list of a potential steering committee. So with this, we're just hoping that you'll start having those conversations, getting people from local businesses, local organizations, just starting those conversations about who might be a good fit for that committee. And we ask that you do actually talk to them before putting their name down. They might be a great idea, but we want to see that they've been informed and they're interested in potentially being part of it. It's non-binding, but we just want to see a list of people that you've talked to. All right. So the criteria that you must meet, you'll see that it's very similar to the list of services and amenities that make a good trail town that Dylan went over earlier. So I'm not going to go into detail on any of these, but it is designed to be flexible. So for example, having restrooms and drinking water, you can say this could be a business that allows the public use of their restrooms and will fill water bottles. So you don't have to have a freestanding restroom and water bottle filling station for that requirement. Or for an outlet for information, we just want to see that there's somewhere that people can get information in town. So this could be the municipal hall, the village hall, city hall, or a visitor center, or a frequently updated bulletin board. So we just want to see what is out there. Dylan?
And to sort of reiterate what I had said earlier is share with us what you've got now. We're going to be selecting communities to work from. This is a competitive application, so we're going to be picking from the different applications we receive. But this is not necessarily something where we're looking for every community to come in and check all the boxes right away, because part of the point of this program is that we're going to be working hand in hand with you. So if there are things that you don't yet have, that's okay. Submit the application and we'll be selecting the communities based on criteria that Erica's going to get into in a minute. But you don't necessarily need to like check all of these things off at 100% right away to feel like you should be applying.
All right, so building off of that, the last section of the application is how prepared your community is to take on this program. So, okay, actually, I guess the steering committee list is actually in this section. I think I moved it around a little bit, but this is where it ended up. And we also want to know what makes your community special. We've talked about that earlier as well. But then a couple things we haven't touched on yet are any major trail-friendly or active transportation policies that you already have in place. So this could be a complete streets ordinance, a speed limit, a village or citywide speed limit of 25 miles per hour. So commitment to safer, slower streets. Anything else in that realm that you can think of, let us know. Next up are planning initiatives and projects that you have underway. So this is really important to us in helping gather information about where you are and where you're going. So if you've applied for or are applying for New York Forward or DRI, we want to know where you are in that process. Any other big projects that could impact the trail, like road redevelopment projects or bridges or new trail projects, anything that could be relevant, any new hotels or anything like that, we want to know. And if your comprehensive plan says anything about the trail or active transportation, walking and biking, or even tourism, like we want to know all of that, where you're at right now, so we can best see where our resources will fit into what you're doing already. This is meant to be supportive. And then finally, please tell us how your community or how you as a trail town will work to support and incorporate historically underserved populations. So with this, we're just hoping that, you know, sometimes the people most involved in volunteering will be the people with the most resources. So how are you going to make sure that you're hearing a diverse range of voices and how the trail is used, or how it might benefit folks that traditionally maybe don't have as much access to the trail, or I don't know, how it might, this program and how you go about it will work to incorporate all of those voices. All right, so just a final last few tips for filling out this application. If you've done any programs with PTNY or Canal Corporation in the past, like if you have certified bike-friendly New York businesses, please let us know. That's a huge, huge bump. You can see what businesses are certified in your community at ptny.org/BFNY. Maybe Dylan can put that in the chat really quick. If you've hosted Canal Clean Sweep events in the past, if any of your trail is adopted, if you've hosted on the canal excursions or had anything to do with Cycle to Erie, please include that. And another big thing that we're looking at is your capacity to participate in the program. So if you're swamped right now, if you are already kind of being pulled in all different sorts of directions, this might not be the best year to apply. But if you're confident that you have enough capacity to, you know, really commit to this program, then that is great, and we want to work with you. Then finally, just when you're filling out the application, think about your community from a visiting trail user's perspective. Like Dylan was saying, when you think of your accommodations, think about those that are accessible via bike lane or sidewalk, you know. Think about those places that trail users can access and will want to visit, and what really makes your community special. We will, of course, build on that through the program, but this application will serve as a great starting point to start thinking about all of that. So next steps, the application is due March 2nd at 5 p.m. Make sure you hit that submit button in the grant portal. And once those all come in and we review them, we'll be scheduling some interviews with maybe not all communities. You know, we'll start narrowing down at that point, and then in late March, you'll be notified of selection or not. And if you are selected, please, or just at this point, make sure to block off Wednesday, April 2nd from 10 to 12 a.m. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And excuse me, we'll have a Trailtown virtual orientation for all of these selected communities to start hearing kind of an expanded version of today's presentation, what this is all going to mean, and get started on the first steps of forming a Trailtown steering committee. There's lots of resources available. The handbook online that Dylan, I believe, put in the chat earlier, or at ptny.org/ESTT. It's all there. And of course, I'm available to answer any questions about the process or the program at any time. So yeah, with that, we have, I guess, just 5 minutes at this point to answer questions, but would love to hear them. And of course, we'll be available afterwards to answer more questions as well.
We do have a couple of questions that have come in already, Erica, so I can read those out, and you and I can respond to those. We have a question about if we have a standard form letter for that letter from the mayor or the town supervisor to be used as a starting point. We don't have that at this moment. That's definitely something that we can provide to applicants, though, as well as a resolution that communities have used in the past. As Erica mentioned, that's our preferred thing, is seeing not just that there's one elected official that's bought in, but that you have broader buy-in from a town or village or city council. But understanding that can be more of a time-consuming process, and that part of this effort can be trying to build that consensus and that support among a legislative board. We will be able to provide resources for both of those. A second question is on neighboring towns or villages applying jointly. And the answer is yes. For the first time this year, we are accepting joint applications from communities that are located next to or near one another. Especially when we're looking at smaller communities, I think that's something that we're comfortable looking at. And what we would want to see is an understanding and a thought given to how the communities support one another, how they're really are sort of integrated and integral to the trail user experience from one another. It can't just be these happen to be next to each other. It has to be that these two communities really are providing these trail user amenities in conjunction with one another. Anything to add on either of those, Erica? Or if anybody else has questions, now's the time to put them in chat.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we will, once we have that form letter and sample resolution, we will make sure that is on the website at ptny.org/ESTT. Under application materials, there's a section that you can pop open that will have.
And if that's something you think you'd like to receive from us, send us an email so that we can send that back out to you once you do have that. And just to reiterate Erica's earlier point, if you do have any questions about this whole process, feel free to send us an email Erica, and we can respond to you with any with answers to any of those questions. So I don't see any other questions coming in. So want to just on my behalf, thank you all for joining us this morning. Erica, do you want a last couple of words to wrap us up?
Likewise, yeah, it's been great having you all here this morning. I hope that this has helped set you up for success in applying for the program this year. I guess one thing that we haven't talked about is that we usually accept between 2 and 4 2 and 4 communities each year. So that gives you a sense of kind of how many we'll be working with, and probably yeah, looking to concentrate our work this year on a smaller number so we can really provide the best support. But I will also say that just by submitting the application, you are already doing so much to build momentum and build a trail town ethos in your community. So don't get discouraged if you're not accepted to this program this year, that by just doing the application and going through that process, you're already doing a really good thing.
And also, a lot of times we've selected communities that have applied in a previous year and not been selected. So applying this year can often help set you up for success in future years if you're not a community we're able to work with.
That's right. So with that, thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your day. And we're here via email to answer any other questions.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.